Welcome to Book Banter with me, your host, Dianne Burkhart. I hope you will join me every Wednesday as we explore all things to do with, well, books. Let's get on with our show today. Happy holidays to all of you wonderful people. I hope you're having a fantastic December and are getting ready to have some wonderful time with friends and family over the next few weeks. Today is December 17th, 2025, and we are, of course, doing our first Holiday Hiatus replay episode with the incredible writing team of Charles Breakfield and Rox Burkey. Now, the other Holiday Hiatus episodes were chosen randomly by a computer program, and we actually ended up with a wonderful mix of genres. But this particular episode, I purposely chose. This summer, I got to have a wonderful conversation with this incredible writing team of Breakfield and Burkey, who have written the Enigma Series, the Enigma Heirs, and of course, the Magnolia Bluff Crime Chronicles. Unfortunately, the writing community lost Rox Burkey back in August. She was really an incredibly vivacious person, and her personality comes across even just in the audio interview. And I wanted to make sure to just give her the tribute that I really felt that she deserved, because I was so grateful getting to meet her and have her be part of Book Banter Productions. It was definitely a blessing to get to meet both of them. So without further ado, please welcome for our Holiday Hiatus replay, Charles Breakfield and Rox Burkey. Now today's show is a little bit different because once again, I am interviewing a writing team. So let's go ahead and have both of you introduce yourselves and tell everybody who you are and what you do. Let's go with ladies first.
Thank you, Dianne. So nice of you to have me. My name is Rox Burkey. I am a co-author of the Enigma series. I also work full-time. I work for a really cool company that I totally enjoy called Zoom. It's fun to be a full-time worker and be able to write part-time for such a long time.
And Charles?
I am Charles Breakfield. I work full-time on our small but important publishing company, Ichabod Press. One of my jobs in this role is to search out new technical ideas, solutions, fun things for us to write about. And sometimes I bring ideas that either excite or dismay Madam Burkey. And so I wouldn't say that I'm the chief agitating officer, CAO, but I do have that quality from time to time.
That sounds like a fun job, though.
Yes.
How did you two come together?
That's a really cool story. So long ago and far away, there was a point in time where I was helping to hire a manager for a group. And so I was part of the team of 3 that was hiring this particular person. And Charles came in for an interview, and he was the best of the 3 candidates that were available. So I kind of pushed my portion of the team vote and voted him into the site manager's position. And it was a good thing. He was a brilliant network person at that point in time, very into technology. And we found that we could work together very well with the whole team that we supported because it was a big contracting team. So that's how we met.
So how did you transition from working together to writing together? How did that conversation even come up?
Actually, that was Rock's taking point. She showed up one day, and we were at a different company at a high-tech manufacturer, Nortel Networks. And she said, hey, I got these people that want to pay us to be able to write some technical manuals. What do you think? I went, well, I don't know. It sounds kind of cool. Let's try it. One of the consequences for us being in professional services is that we had a lot of FaceTime with customers, and we had to write reports on what we found. Here's the problems. Here's how you fix it, blah, blah, blah. And so we ended up sometimes teaming together for some of these customers, and it was a natural segue into writing these tech manuals. If anybody that's listening, and if you've ever read or done tech manuals, you realize how incredibly dull they are, and they're out of date in 6 months.
Yeah.
So
what they were doing, they were after us constantly. Can we get a rewrite? Can we do this? And I went, this isn't any fun. It's not as much fun as I thought it was going to be. So I picked up my marbles and stomped off. And she came, always being the consummate salesperson she is, approached me, 3 months later and says, I have an idea. Now, just so you know, Dianne, those are the 4 most terrifying words in our vocabulary for the other person. And she sprung on me this swell idea of let's write technical fiction. Techno-thrillers, basically, is what the term we had coined at that point in time.
Mm-hmm.
And it was a cool idea because we could take the technical stuff we were seeing coming down the pike to us daily in our workload and using some characters that we made up. Well, they were basically patterned after people we knew. So it was a good formula. We had lots of fun. The closer for her was she goes, okay, look, we can kill people in the books and not go to jail.
That's always a good thing.
And the rest, as they say, is history. Rox, you want to comment on that or change the embellishments that I frequently do?
You do great embellishments. I mean, that's part of the charm. You know, it's very interesting because from the moment that I hired him into that organization, we did fit very well together for working together, talking to customers together. And in our roles, we've both traveled to different parts of the world. But, you know, I'm very fortunate. I'm the godmother to one of his daughters, and his bride is our first line editor. So it's a lot of fun.
That's nice that you actually even get some of the other family into it. Do they all read your books as well?
You got to be kidding me. Anybody who's been an author for any more than 10 minutes always already knows. Family, they don't have to read it. They don't read it. They won't read it. But they tell you it's brilliant. Thank you. You're amazing, award-winning, and they give you all kinds of accolades that are unearned. So, no, they want a copy of the book, so put them on the shelf, and then say, "I'll read this later, Dad." Fine.
Only if they're signed by you.
Yep.
Whenever you first started out writing these books together, how did you manage your process to write a book together?
So we're technologists by profession, having a little bit different focus on it. So we grew up with all the really cool digital tools that people have and take for granted now with, laptops and all these programs. So we tracked everything on a spreadsheet. We still do to this day. And we lock it up, secure it, and transmit it to one another back and forth on an ongoing basis. So, I mean, that's the primary thing is we allow the digital world to come into sharing the information between one another. Well, then we also have some really great conversations on story crafting, what the theme is, what the direction of the story is, how a character should or shouldn't behave. We do that primarily by talking together and having those discussions.
Well, no, some of the other people that I've talked to who do write in teams, often one person will write the first draft and then the other person will come in and do a rewrite, add some color, expand on the story. How do you go back and forth on this?
So we kind of rough out chapters, I think is the best way to say it. Wouldn't you, Charles?
Yeah, we use our patent pending technique of literary ping pong. I might postulate a chapter, Rox might postulate a chapter, and then we send it back and forth. It basically goes through that polishing effort and story smithing, character polishing, and we get it to the point where we're satisfied with that chapter. We might write them as a sequence. They might have to be moved around digitally, but the idea is to get captured and socialized between the two of us on a back and forth basis as the novel continues to evolve, which works in a couple different reasons for us. And that's, okay, maybe the characters start talking to us and they say, oh no, I need to go do it this way. And so it gives us the chance to be able to course corrections, if you will, through a manuscript. And that's where the story smithing gets to have a life of its own.
That's really interesting because it sounds like you guys really are writing everything together, where a lot of people seem to have it more separated out.
And I've heard that before, Dianne, from another team that I have spoken to, that one person does one whole round on everything and then the other person comes behind. But because we talk about the different chapters and because of the technology elements that we lace in without making it a manual, we try to play to one another's strengths. And so it would mean that I might write more about a certain kind of character or a certain way that a plot is going for that person. And then Charles will pick it up on the other end. And then we can berate each other that no woman on the planet would ever say this or no man on the planet would ever say this. And it makes for a lively conversation.
That does have to be one benefit that you guys have with your team being a man and a woman is because you do have the opposite perspective. So it must be easier since you have that perspective.
Agreed. That's definitely an advantage. And to Rox's point, I mean, I'm guilty of every once in a while putting a statement into the novel that no female on the planet would ever say. And that's a good thing because it's a reality check. We don't want to be myopic. We don't want to be too one-dimensional. We want to see well-rounded characters. And sometimes it takes both of us pulling on a character to be able to get it just exactly the way it needs to be for the story.
Now, since you do write techno-thrillers that have cybersecurity and espionage and all of this advanced technology, do you ever worry about writing above the understanding of some of your readers?
Yes. Yes, we do. And it's something we try to be very cautious about and have taken more of a slant of trying to share nuggets of information without sounding like a tech novel. We've had some edits where it's gotten a little bit heavy and we've had to cut some things out because of that. And you bring up a point that we constantly monitor ourselves with.
I know I have a different perspective because my husband also works in IT. And so I hear this stuff all the time and I'm like, okay, I don't know what you're talking about, but go on.
That reminds me, Charles, of what your daughter said to you long ago. What was her conversation with you?
Oh, yeah. So, Dianne, the girls, when they were fairly young, everybody would want to know, Dad, how was your day? And I would unthinkingly unload on some of the technical problems I was working on. And after 5 or 10 minutes, you look around the table and everybody looks like they just got a shot of Novocaine. And the little one would come over and tug on my sleeve. She goes, Dad, nobody understands what you're talking about.
I will say, though, after 12 years of marriage, I do understand most of it now.
Good for you.
He's very good at explaining it because that's basically his job, is explaining this stuff to people who don't understand.
Yeah. And that's what Rox and I have done for a long time. As a matter of fact, they would send us to the tech training with the words, go learn this because you're going to teach all the rest of us what it does.
Yeah. With all of your books, because you have quite a large collection of publications that are available, how is your process easier now than when you first started? Has it changed much?
I wouldn't say so. I would say that it's, well, sometimes what we do, our best writing is when we're collaborating in a car with Rox driving and we're going to a book fair or heading to an authors at sea thing that we do in the Caribbean. And she's usually somewhere over 80. She's driving like she's on the Autobahn. And you can't do that here in the U.S. Anyway, we'll talk back and forth. And I use it as a help quell my anxiety for her dashing in and out, leaning on the horn. And she's taught me so many expletives that it's amazing for use in driving. So that's where we get the idea of a story. And I'll sketch it out, write it down, so I'm not focused on too much on the traffic that she's dodging. Then we start filling in pieces for the next book. So it could be a tech thriller. It could be cozy mystery. We've even done a children's book for the 4th grade through the 8th grade. I forget that particular range. And women's contemporary collection of short stories. Sometimes it's beginning with that phrase, I have an idea, from one of us, and it turns into tangible products.
If I have this right, you have the Enigma series, you have Enigma Airs series, you have the Magnolia Bluff Crime Chronicles, you have a selection of novellas and short stories.
Yeah.
Well, we don't want to be bored, Dianne. I mean, And in our spare time, we cook. We actually do cook-a-thons between the two families.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, it's pretty fun. We like cooking.
So what's your best dish?
Wine.
Paella.
Wine.
Yeah, we sometimes even put it in the food. So who knows,
So now we must talk about the synopsis of your latest book, which just came out May 1st of this year. So who would like to tell us about your book?
I think I'll start on this one, if you don't mind, Charles.
Go right ahead.
So Enigma Jewels is the last in this trilogy. So Enigma Airs is only a trilogy, and it is made up of the next generation of the R Group and CATS teams that the original Enigma series was written on. And the two that are running the cybersecurity at this point, and the good guys, or the cyber heroes, are Gracie and JJ, and they are twins. And so they're descendants of the family, and they're running this. They've come across in the 3 books 3 men who are half brothers to one another, and they're evil. One's more evil than the next. And Julian, the cover picture on the last book, is probably the worst of them all and has had his fingers into doing things to his brothers that readers are just going to have to find out about. But it is a man who is obsessed with gems and jewels and cryptocurrency and taking advantage of people. And JJ and Gracie really want to bring him to justice.
That does sound like one of those edge of your seat kind of thrillers.
We would echo that sentiment, of course.
Now, whenever you're working with such complex storylines, do you plot out a lot of this beforehand, or are you more seat of your pants kind of writers? Because I would think that this would take some serious plotting to keep everything straight.
We do sketch out maybe 10 to 20 chapters up front to get it started, get the creative juices flowing. But as the story evolves, we need a character brought in here. This one is not working quite right, and it's an evolution. It's not a, here's the map, go do it. It's, we're going to go head off in this direction, and we might end up, in West Texas, or it might be Arkansas. So, we give ourselves the latitude to listen to the characters. And once we get into the story, sometimes the story will dictate, okay, this needs to happen, or this is something that, had you thought about this? Or, oh, wow, I completely overlooked that angle. Let's write towards that and see if we can't pick it up in pieces so that it doesn't get sprung on the reader until we're ready to spring it on the reader.
So it sounds like you're more plantsers, where you have a skeleton and you build from there.
I would agree with that.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. That's a fair statement. I think with the trilogy, what's interesting about it, including the very last book, The Enigma Jewels, is we also are attuned to what's going on in the world. And so we pull elements of that along with the technology to help make it more contemporary and more relevant to the story. And so even though we do a lot of research and we look at things in 100 different ways, things creep into the stories that are because they're top of mind, because they're so relevant, like the human trafficking aspect that's in Enigma Jewels, the cryptocurrency issues, the drugs that he's helping to process, I guess would be the best term. They all have elements in there. So that's the reason that it's only a trilogy. We can only focus on the really crummy stuff only so long.
I read on your website about the interesting facts about the two of you. Do you ever pull any of your own family histories into your books? Because you both have very interesting military family histories.
I would have to answer that would be a yes. We pull elements of it in, but we don't identify it as being family. Would that be fair, Charles? Especially with some of the flying and piloting aspects that you grew up with?
Yeah, I have to agree. There are attributes that are memorable, things that you grew up with, an event or somebody that you worked with that just had to be in the book. And we put in some of those characteristics, but it's what we call in the technical world a mashup for the personalities.
Mm-hmm.
And that gives us, so here's some characteristics for a particular person. It's sort of a fun exercise to tease into the conversation to help build them. And maybe that's an attribute that I really know from one particular individual. Probably the best example I've got of some of the character smithing we've done. We had in book number 10, we had a review come back that always stuck in my mind. The reviewer said, I didn't want to like him, but I couldn't help myself. I couldn't not. I had to feel sorry for him. Wow.
That's great.
Absolutely remarkable. And I used that. Somebody said, we were at a book show, and he said, hey, what's your best book? I said, this one. And I pulled that line on him, and he grabbed it and went off and started reading it. And he was chapters into it before we ever closed down the booth. He's like, where do I get the rest of these?
Wow. That's fantastic.
Very gratifying to be able to have somebody imagination grabbed. And when he showed back up the table, he was still laughing at some of the stuff. He goes, how do you know how to do this? And I said, it's what Breakfield and Burkey know best.
Now, how did you decide who was going to go first on the titles? Was there a discussion about it, or did you just decide to go alphabetical?
Alphabetical.
Was there ever any discussion about how you should do that?
6 books into it, yes. Someone said that it should be ladies first. I'm like, I'm not changing these book covers now. Not going to happen.
And do you always put it that way, or do you switch it up sometimes with your different series?
That's another really good question. We actually did switch it on 2 books. We switched it on the collection of short stories. Trusted Friends and Lovers is the name of that one. And then we also switched it on the 8 to 12-year-old fantasy that we released last year as kind of a put our toe in the water to see if we could do children's books. So we switched the author's order on that one too.
So do you think you want to do any more children's books?
I would like to. I'm just not sure the right approach. The fantasy was fun, but fantasy is tough to write.
Yeah, I think a lot of people think that because you are creating your own worlds, that it's something that's a lot easier than doing like historical fiction where you have to actually keep to history. But then you have to create a whole world and you have to make it believable.
Yeah, when you do it for children, you can't, I mean, they're pretty smart. I think children are smarter than a lot of the adults I know. You gotta be careful.
And they will call you out on it faster.
Yeah. You've met the same children I have. Cool.
Now, you had mentioned going to a writers group before and writers events. Do you ever host your own and teach people how to be a writing team?
We do workshops on this author's cruise that we go on annually. So we do conduct some workshops, but it's 1 or 2 classes that we do during the cruise as opposed to being in charge of everything.
I don't think we bumped into anybody on those authors' cruises that said that we're writing together like we do. So it's mostly people like, okay, how do I write better? How can I do this better? What is your secret? And we put together relevant courses and we teach. It's about an hour and then we take turns on different topics, but we help craft one another's thoughts. So it's still a collaborative effort, even on the training that we do.
There's so many different formats for thrillers, how you would space out the beats in the drama. Is there anything particular that you follow for your books, or do you just write the story as it comes?
We more write the story as it comes based on how we've experienced technology over the years and the way it has changed and evolved, which is how we ended up with my most favorite character of all the books in the thrillers, whether it's the first set of 12 or the trilogy that we just finished, and that's Ichabod. So Ichabod's my favorite character. Don't you think, Charles?
Yeah, he's the AI enhanced supercomputer. He's sort of like a secret weapon that the R group leverages, and he's taught himself to be able to speak. And he got stumped when he was trying to figure out how do you do humor. And so we get to exercise that part of his makeup, and we even have him playing cards with other supercomputers throughout the series. And one of the things that people ask about it, like, okay, Ichabod, where'd it come from? And you'll probably crack up at this, acronyms. If you're in the tech world, we love acronyms. And so we ended up poking fun at ourselves at some of the acronyms we come up with throughout the stories. There's usually a new one in each one of the books, but Ichabod actually stands for Immersive, Collaborative, Associative, Binary Override of Deterministic Systems.
I love that. I love puzzles, so trying to figure out what those kind of things would be wouldn't be so much fun.
Well, out there on the website, don't we have a publication where we said, here are all the collection of acronyms that we have throughout the series?
I'm going to have to search your website.
It's a free download. Feel free.
I noticed you do have so much fantastic information on your website. You have separate pages for your paperbacks, your audiobooks, which I listened to some of the samples. You've got great narrators. You've got the ebooks, the short stories, book teasers. You've got all of your information about you and your calendar, your blogs, and a page full of free stuff.
Yep. Something for everybody is what we're hoping for. And we do love our narrator. Derek Scholes is working on narrating Enigma Jewels right now.
Yeah.
You have quite a selection in here for your audiobooks. These are just amazing. I mean, people can even listen to them on Spotify.
That's correct, yeah. We get in that topic early on in our careers. We were a show and somebody said, wow, look at a lot of nice stuff. He said, do you have any audiobooks? And we went, no. Don't you want it? I don't have time to read. I just simply don't. I'd like, if you have an audio format, that's the only way that I digest this kind of stuff. And so we found this tremendous voice actor. He's not a narrator. That's almost an insult because he actually keeps track of the over 150 different characters and the voices that he uses for them. So that if we bring anybody back, it's consistent with earlier books. For us, it's always popcorn night whenever we have a new book that's in process. And Derek says, okay, here's another block of chapters. We sit down with our favorite adult beverage and, popcorn and just, munch away listening to something that is a media format that's completely engaging, even though we've written the story. It's hard to explain because it's like, wow, we didn't realize what a nice offering it is to have audiobooks well done for a story as a companion.
Oh, yeah. It's amazing. And I actually narrated my first book in my series that I wrote, and trying to keep track of all of the different voices. I only had like maybe 15 that I had to keep track of for mine. I cannot even imagine having a character list like what yours has to keep track of. That's incredible.
Well, he files them by name. So, I mean, we don't have that many characters in an individual book, but he will pull them up from other books and make sure that they sound the same between them.
That's definitely a talent.
Yeah.
And I couldn't narrate the books, and we wrote them. There's no way I could narrate them. I don't know how you do that. How did you do that with your own stuff?
Well, I worked in broadcasting and had to do different voices for different things. And
okay.
That would do it.
Yeah. So you were cheating. Okay. All right. I got it.
That's experience, Charles, not cheating. Experience. You got to go with it.
Innovative. Okay. I'll change that word. You were innovative. Okay. That's got it.
One of the things I had to do was I would just make separate recordings to put in a little file on the side. This is the voice for this character. She is this person. It's her name. And I would do it in that voice. And when I would have to go back and do that person, I'd have to go back and listen to that again. Your guy is fantastic.
Yeah, that's what Derek does. He keeps an inventory and he has it indexed on a spreadsheet. Usually what we do is when he says, okay, yeah, I got time to do your project, we'll send him an inventory. Okay, here's what we think this voice could sound like, but he gets his full latitude. We never say, it's got to sound like this. We learned early on, he's so good. It's like my favorite phrase to him is say, okay, for this voice, you may indulge yourself.
I'm sure he appreciates those.
Yeah.
So now seems like the perfect time to do our 5 quick questions that never turn out to be quick, but I'm just too nosy to stop doing it. Are you ready?
Sure.
Question 1. What is your favorite way to spend a day off?
Day off for me, I get on my Road King Harley and just go. It gives me a chance to be able to see the countryside, just zone out, dodging the trucks and making sure that I'm not run over by some lunatic is playing with their cell phone. And just, you get the smells, you get the sights and sounds in a 360-degree sphere that you won't get in a car. And of course, somebody once explained to me that when you get in a car, you're trying to get someplace.
Yeah.
And when you're on a motorcycle, it's the travel.
Yeah, I get that. And Rox?
I take so little time off. It's really hard to frame a good answer for this one. So I'm just going to go with when I have the opportunity to be on a cruise and on a boat and I can't get to my Wi-Fi, then I like walking on the ship or playing ping pong. It's one of my favorite things to do on a boat is play ping pong.
I'm always impressed with anybody who can play tennis or ping pong because I cannot do either. So that's a talent.
I'm pretty good at ping pong. I'm pretty good at pool. Tennis, not so much.
So now question 2. When either one of you see a piece of broken furniture on the side of the road, what would inspire you to stop and pick it up?
So our proximity when I'm in Dallas is our homes are kind of closely related and we do a lot of collaboration walking around the neighborhood. I can't tell you how many pieces of furniture we have repurposed because they have been on the side of the road. We've learned how to install springs in older furniture. We've recovered. We have refined, refinished, painted, soldered,
Reglued. Yeah.
sold.
Somebody throw it out. You can still use this chair. All they have to do is just reglue it and clamp it. And then Rox has got the eye for the fabric and the stitching. My daughter's got a complete dining room furniture, chairs that we found that were antiques. I can't believe people would throw out antiques, but they do because they didn't know how to be able to fix them. So we just got in the habit of picking up cast-offs, and I think she's got like 8 or 10 chairs that they're all different, that when people come over and we're cutting up with the rest of the authors we know, everybody gets a different chair.
That's cool. I love that.
Well, and some of the stuff we picked up wasn't antiques. They were obviously made in China. And
Mhm.
so we had a label made for them. It said, made in China, repaired in Texas.
That's great. So now question 3. Who, if anyone, do you look up to?
Rox, you want to start?
You're on, Mr. B.
Okay. That's an easy question. My dad.
That's a great one.
He's given me a lot of those advanced starts on life. I once found a yearbook with him from high school,
Hmm.
and the tagline that he earned, didn't put it in there, but everybody insisted that he get labeled with it, was expert, expert. There's so many things he taught me how to be able to do. He was a fighter pilot through 3 wars,
Wow.
single engine fighters. He once told me, he said, the very best job you could ever get, young person, is starship captain. And if you can't do that, if it's already taken by Captain Kirk,
Mhm.
then the next best job is single engine fighter pilot, which is what he was.
That's so cool.
Enough, I look up to people that try. So the people that I'm around, my family, the individual family members, if they are working hard to do something, I get so proud of them that I look up to them while they're working on that project or doing that. And, even when Charles was going through this cyber training that he went through at one point in time, it was really, really tough class. And
Hmm.
he was complaining about how hard it was. I mean, I really looked up to him while he was going through that. So I kind of look up to other people and their achievements. And I'm honored to know so many people, just like you with narrating your own books. I mean, I'm like, wow, that's amazing. I couldn't possibly do that.
Those are fantastic answers. Because I know, especially whenever times get tough, it's always great to find someone who can inspire you. And that's what I always think people that you look up to do. They inspire you to be better.
Agreed.
So, question 4. If you could visit any place on earth, even if it's some place that you just want to go back to, where would you like to go?
I'm tossed between 2. I really, 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 really want to go to Australia and New Zealand really badly.
Oh, New Zealand's gorgeous. Never been to Australia, but New Zealand, I highly recommend that.
My son was in an exchange program when he was a 7th grader, and I begged to be one of the chaperones on the people-to-people thing that he was allowed to do, and they wouldn't let me. So my own son got to go to both of those places where I have not yet. Someday.
Oh, wow.
Someday. But also, where you are in Germany or any other part of Europe,
Hmm.
I would love to go to. I made it to Italy. That was a one-shot deal, but there's places I'd love to see someday.
Yeah, there's a lot of gorgeous places around here.
If I was thinking about it, I would also like to be able to do Rhine River cruise.
Oh, yeah.
I've never done that.
I actually have a friend who is on that cruise right now.
Well, good. I want to hear all about it.
We kind of have a rule at my household, like, no, let's try to go someplace different because there's so many swell places to go. And the one that always gets people's eyebrows raised is when we were able to do the Russian river cruise
Oh,
from
wow.
Moscow to St. Petersburg. There's like 35 different locks that you have to go through. And we did this like in May, and it takes you like 15 days to be able to go through it. And combinations were kind of fun. If you like early Cold War river trip, that was the ship that we were on. But we actually got to Lake Onega, and it was frozen.
Oh, wow.
And we're like, gee, what do we do now? And they said, we already have this already planned. An icebreaker on the lake came through, knocked out a couple of areas for us, and off we went on down the road to St. Petersburg. And it was fantastic.
Wow, that would be amazing.
It was amazing. It's a shame you probably can't do it now.
Yeah.
Based on the political environment, but the people were quite surprised. Nice, fun individuals, and that's what makes those kind of trips special.
Hmm.
That also gives us that background information for the good guy, bad girl, and those characteristics find their way into our writings.
That's one thing that I like about being able to travel around is it does make my character building wider. It's not quite as narrowly focused. The more experiences I have meeting different people, it always seems to just enrich my characters.
Yeah.
So now for your last question, we're asking everybody this because we're building a list to put into our year-end book buying guide of author suggestions. So for question 5, if somebody comes up and asks you for a book recommendation, who's the first author you go to?
Mine's Bella Andre. I love the way she writes.
Is there a favorite book?
No, I mean, honestly, not. I guess any book in the Sullivan series, it's just different, very different from what we write, just enough little species spicy that makes it a lot of fun. I enjoy reading her.
Charles?
I would have to say Kevin J. Anderson and the work that he's done with Brian Herbert Jr. and the Dune series. They do world building that I envy. They're good storytellers. There's very few things that I will buy just because it's got somebody's name on it.
Mm-hmm.
If it's got his name on it, it goes in my library. He's got a new series out. I'm going to read it. And I do make time to be able to read his material. I'm always a little concerned about reading too much competitors, if you will.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I don't want to be guilty of, well, I used their story outline. No, that's a worry that I have in the back of my mind all the time. Because our stuff has to be our stuff.
Yeah.
I don't want to have something else generating for me, which is why we don't use AI to do any writing of our novels.
Yeah, that's one thing that has been really quite a conversation with people, especially in the indie author community, for the last year and a half, with the way that AI is becoming so prevalent. It's like, how do people really use it for spell checking and things like that, but then not have people hold it against them that they're using it, thinking that they're using it to write their book for them? It's become such a conversation in the community right now.
Agreed. Yeah.
So now what is next for your writing team?
Well, we're halfway through another edition for the Magnolia Bluff Crime Chronicles, and that's what we're hacking on right now, trying to get something assembled that we're both satisfied and confident of for release on August 20th of this year.
So now go ahead and remind everybody who you are and where they can find your books.
So we write the Enigma series. Breakfield and Burkey is how you will find us most of the time. Our website is enigmaseries.com. People can find us on Facebook that way. Subscribe to our YouTube channel, which is actually a lot of fun. In fact, this last 3 months, we recently added an area called Author Showcase for guest authors to be interviewed by us or to have a little clip made with regards to their book. It's kind of a new thing that we're going down because we believe that a small press and indie authors really, really should support one another.
Definitely.
What did I miss, Charles?
Let's see. Those are the highlights. I mean, we've been cranking out a lot of 60-second snippets, is what I would call them, with video, music, narration. And we're just posting them out there to help push some of the other authors, and then some shameless advertising for our stuff as well.
And of course, we want to remind everybody that all of your books are available in paperback, ebook editions, and audiobooks. You are available widely wherever books are sold, and all of your information and live links so that people can go find and buy your books are going to be in the description of today's podcast and on our own website at burkhartbooks.com/podcast.
A quick mention, Dianne, for anybody that really, really wants to have a signed book by an author, if they're in the United States, we do allow people to buy paperbacks off of our website. We will sign them and ship them free within the continental United States.
That is really fantastic because I know so many people who love to collect books with the signatures.
Yeah, some people really do love it. So.
Oh, yeah. Thank you so much for being here with me today. You both are just absolutely amazing, and your books sound thrilling.
Thank you for having us, Dianne. You're a very charming host.
Much appreciated, Dianne. Thank you for the time.
So there you have it, folks. I hope you enjoyed this holiday hiatus replay of my interview with Charles Breakfield and Rox Burkey. Be sure to check out the description of today's podcast, where you will find not only more information about them, but also live links so that you can go check out all of their social media and buy their books. And if you want to find out more information about our tribute to Rox Burkey, you can find it at burkhartbooks.com, where we have a 20-page free preview of our Book Banter magazine's holiday book buying guide. While you're there, why not buy a copy of our magazine? You just might find your new favorite author. This 132-page magazine can be viewed two ways, as a flipbook online, or you can download it as a PDF to any device. Everything comes with live links so that you can click and go to all of the author information and to buy their books. This magazine features 44 authors from various genres, fun pages that you can download and complete at home, as well as an answer key, book reviews, features, and so much more. And you get all of this for just $2.99. And when you purchase this magazine, you are helping us continue to bring you all of these fantastic authors. And we already have a host of incredible authors applying to be on season 5 of this podcast. If you love books like we do, you do not want to miss an episode or an issue of our magazine. And don't forget to come back next week when we will have the holiday replay of our episode where I interviewed middle grade book author Valerie Sherrard. We talked about her fantastic book, A Bend in the Breeze. If you're looking for a last-minute gift to get some middle grade reader on your holiday shopping list, I suggest you check her out. And I think that's enough for today, folks. I hope you all go forth and have very happy holidays.